As you can see, I'm on the opposite side of the screen because this ain't your ordinary movie, so I wanted to make it feel special.
Hello, Adam Ryan Donato.
Hello, welcome back to another hard review, and this is the last tentpole blockbuster of the year, Avatar: The Way of Water. Now, we've been waiting for the sequel for 13 years now. It's been in production for at least 8 years now. It's so rewarding to finally get to see this movie on the big screen the way that it was intended. I was able to catch a Dolby screening, higher frame rate, 3D, and it was absolutely breathtaking. This movie is everything that I wanted it to be and more. I always said that I had such high hopes for the sequel because not only did they have time for the technology to develop, but James Cameron has had time to get feedback about the story and the characters from the first movie, make changes, feel a little bit more original, a little bit more fresh. Now, I feel like James Cameron's the type of guy that would get feedback and he'd just be like, fuck him. I trusted him to have something new in store for this next installment, especially if he was trying to justify making a litany of these movies. The Way of Water, I love this title. I love how it's centered around our family, Jake Sully, going with his wife and his now like 4 kids, basically 5 kids. They have to go to a different clan to seek shelter. Villains from the past are terrorizing them and hunting them down, so they try to get away with their lives and just live as a family. So obviously the visuals are absolutely breathtaking. This is absolutely gorgeous. I did think at some points the higher frame rate was a little bit distracting, like almost like I was playing a video game, like Call of Duty, but with the sensitivity turned up because characters would move so quickly. It was just kind of weird at times, but it's still, this is the most beautiful movie that I've ever seen in my life, probably. From a special effects, visual effects, 3D standpoint, it was gorgeous. The story, yeah, is fresh. It's a continuation from the first movie, obviously, but I feel like it does it in such a graceful way. Jake Sully's not as annoying in this one because he's not just the character insert. He's actually got a lot more depth in this one, I feel, and it's a lot less predictable where his character's going to go throughout. Whereas the first one, it's just kind of that same, like Neo in the Matrix. He's Luke Skywalker, it's Harry Potter, it's Frodo. He's going to go on his normal hero's arc journey. Everyone has nauseated to death how standard the plot and characters in the first Avatar are. There's no unobtainium in this one. One of my favorite parts about this one is how personal that it is. You know, before, we're just going to some alien world and we're trying to get some artifact, but in this one, the people that are attacking our heroes have a very deeply personal reason to be doing so. That makes the stakes so much higher. I love the dynamics between characters in this movie. I'm trying to be very vague as to not spoil any of this, because this is definitely the type of movie that I appreciated not knowing a lot about it. Like, it was a surprise to me when I realized that certain characters are certain characters, because the trailer does a really fantastic job of hiding of what most of this movie is going to be about. It's funny because we got to the third act of this movie and I thought it was the second act because I remember just a month ago when we saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever and we were in the scene where Wakanda is flooding and I was like, yeah, this is the climax right here. But wow, this movie went by like that. What a breeze of a movie. And I think it was like 192 minutes, something like that. Absolutely outrageous runtime, and I was plugged in all the way. I don't see myself quickly going out to rewatch this in theaters. If I did, I definitely wouldn't be like, I need to be sitting every second of the movie because it's a long movie. But yeah, it's an absolute blast. The action is so much fun. Even the downtime that we get to spend with our characters, yeah, it's actually kind of nice having downtime with these characters so I can learn about who they are and how they are with certain people and what their personality is like and what their individual attributes are. This is a full meal. I don't know if I would bring little kids to this. I think 6 is the earliest age I would probably bring a child to see this movie. It does get kind of brutal and like an awesome, like, woohoo kind of a way at times. There's one moment specifically where I was like, wow. It's funny because it reminds me of Empire Strikes Back. I went into this being like, okay, am I going to come out of this saying that this is the Empire Strikes Back of the Avatar universe? And if James Cameron has proved anything to me in his career, it's that he knows how to go and make a sequel. He made Terminator, comes out with Terminator 2, it's even better than the first one. And the first one's one of the most iconic classic action movies of all time. He goes out and he takes over Ridley Scott's work in Alien and he makes Aliens, and it's arguably just as good, if not better. So I obviously trust James Cameron to go out and make a big blockbuster action sequel. It's definitely going to take more rewatches and more reflection, but yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't know where it ranks historically. I think it will make $1 billion, but it really depends on how well this does overseas. I really love a lot of the themes in this movie. Obviously, we continue on we gotta take care of our planet, care about nature and the world around us. We are all God's creatures, basically. It complicated a lot of the themes from the first movie where, we're not all that different really, but here we get combinations. It's hard to talk about this without spoiling it, but they have some characters that help us complicate these themes and make us think about it in more ways and different ways. Really excited to see where they go going forward. Absolutely fantastic movie. I could see people walking out of it and being like, that's too long. I could see people walking out of it and being like, oh, the first one's better because the first one introduced us to Pandora and all this stuff, and this one just kind of put us in a new setting and continued on, and it didn't do anything to really top the first movie in almost every way. It's better than the first movie. The only thing that the first movie has above this is that it's the first one. That was the first time we saw these effects, the first time that we went to Pandora, the first time we were introduced to these characters, and it will always have the box office record. So very interested to see what people think about this movie. What do you think? What's your favorite James Cameron movie? Mine probably would be Terminator 2. I'm a big Terminator 2 guy. There's a lot of Terminator 2 in this as well. MVP is the whale in this movie. I want a plushie of the whale. I kept talking about it before the movie, and it definitely delivered. Really impressed with how they handled the villain without going too much into that, but a villain is my strongest aspect about the movie. I'm a guy who really cares about a villain in a movie. Villain is a large indicator of whether or not it stands above other blockbusters. Since we got out of the way of, establishing this world and these characters, we're able to do more fleshing these characters out and growing out from where we started. And I'm really happy to be on this journey with Jimmy James Cameron. Go check this out in theaters. Definitely see it in the best format possible. IMAX, 3D, Dolby, higher frame rate. I don't care. Just go see it. Go see it in 40X for all I care for 3.5 hours. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I think I'm going to see this twice in theaters.